Greetings, Vault Hunters all across the 6 galaxies. Welcome to the Bordercast. We're live once again at our usual time, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. I'm Mitsu.
And I'm Tess, coming to you every week to break down all things Borderlands.
Fresh off the heels of returning from the Emerald City, we're going to talk a little bit about the NextMakers program today, and I'm very excited to do that. What is it? Why should you be paying attention? We will absolutely fill you in.
And we have a little tiny bit of movie news. Not too much, but just enough to keep us excited and engaged, all the things.
Oh yeah, there was a slew of information released over the past few days in terms of like critical reception to a reel that was shown at CinemaCon, I believe about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And we're going to talk about that a little bit because it definitely seems like, from what I'm understanding from independent sources, it's going to look really, really good. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. As always, we wanted to take a minute to thank all of our new listeners on iTunes, Spotify, and Stitcher, and those watching live on YouTube, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. I'm just going to repeat everything 37 times. Steam, and Facebook, or later on the VOD on YouTube. If you are enjoying the program, we would love for you to give us a big old like, follow, or favorite, since video games are just awesome. And they are. And we get to talk about that, and that's pretty awesome, too.
Yeah, yay video games. Borderlands 3's second birthday approaches. The final events are here as Loot the Universe fades away and Mayhem Made Mild, mixed with Show Me the Iridium, return to the forefront for 1 week. That's starting today. Now, I've been excited for this whole time. Like, super excited. So I'm hoping to see a bunch of you guys in game. So psyched to see that. Mayhem Made Mild. Super easy modifiers, all the fun modifiers, loot explosion, of course, and the lovely giant heads. I want to see them everywhere because they're so much fun. And Show Me the Iridium, which gives you discounts. Okay, I always, for some reason, my brain just skips over this fact, but it gives you discounts for the things that you normally would use Iridium for, and you get greater Iridium drops basically everywhere, which is really, really, really cool. It's nice to see that happening.
Oh yeah, it's really good that they're finally bringing back Mayhem Made Mild. The only problem is everybody gets used to it so quickly that now everybody's just going to want it to stay again. And once it goes away, it's just like, no, but I was having so much fun with everything being so easy and cheeky and like, oh, I can get loot explosion and also this modifier. That made it so much fun. And I'm gonna try and enjoy it as much as possible while it's here. You should too, but it will be gone very, very quickly. And just take advantage of it, especially the Iridium too, because one of the big issues, Tess, I know you can absolutely vouch for this. One of the big issues with Borderlands 3 right now is we asked for things to spend Iridium on, and they did an excellent job of giving us things to spend Iridium on. However, now the problem is keeping your Iridium up enough to actually be able to do those things. Because it's what? I believe it's 500 in order to summon Hemo and Vermi.
Yeah.
And it's 250, if I recall correctly, to roll for a new anointment. Yes. Which, those are some pretty hefty numbers, all things considered. And Iridium farms aren't terribly efficient sometimes. It can be very focused, which the idea should be to farm Iridium to use it as a currency, in addition to money.
We can't complain about this. Okay, we asked
for
this. We specifically were like, please give, and Gearbox was like, here you go. So this is not a thing we can complain about. And honestly, I think it's a good balance. Like, I think even without these events, it's been a pretty good balance. Like, it gives you a reason to farm, gives you a reason to do stuff, and you can find Iridium and get more extra Iridium by doing so many things. So like, and you earn it from fighting the boss too. It's not a bad balance at all, but having this event happen is like a really nice boost, a super nice boost.
I mean, we asked for it, and when we got it, Gearbox was like, here you go. Here are the prices. Deal with it. And just put on their sunglasses and walked away. As my eyes probably look like hollowed blue things now because these sunglasses are green. But yeah, they straight up like walked away and were like, here, have fun, make it work. You wanted it. We did, and we are, kind of. But that's the magic of Show Me the Iridium and Mayhem Made Mild. Make sure that you are taking advantage of both events as they're going on for only 1 week in preparation for next week on Monday, September 13th, where they say they have even more planned. What does that mean? I know we've been asking this question the whole time, but we haven't really gotten a single hint other than maybe it's Wonderlands related. Is that what you think?
I hope so. Oh my God. Okay, so my speculation meter is like way up there because they recently tweeted that there was going to be some kind of reveal happening soon, and then they've been saying something special on the 13th, and just everywhere on Instagram, on Twitter, in all the places, there's something happening. We don't know what that something is, but we're very excited to see it. I'm really, really hoping that whatever the thing is happens on Monday because I can't wait anymore. Really, just for me, please. I need more Wonderlands stuff. I need it. I need it. Oh my God. I'm so excited for Wonderlands. You guys have no idea. I think you're
before
all
we went
probably
live,
really
Jolt's dude
excited.
tweeted out that he had ideas that maybe something would happen today, but I was like, no, because I almost wanted to pull my hair out, which would look awful, although I look awful anyway, so it doesn't matter. I would be very sad if information dropped today. I'd be happy because we're getting it right away, but we're literally going live right now, and then we can't showcase it to all of you. We have to wait an entire week, and that's an eternity in news cycles. I'd be so happy, but so sad because I really want to break it down with you, Tess, and talk about it in front of the people and have that conversation. Because if you look at the Twitch chat right now, especially, Moxie's literally in there asking right now. He goes, "Scarfman, please to give Wonderlands info. Thank you." I want to.
I
want
wish
to.
I want to as well. We're like dying. We just want more. We want the info at least as bad, if not more, than you guys want the info because we want to be able to share it with you all so badly. So hopefully soon. Hopefully maybe it's the 13th. I mean, again, this is pure speculation. We don't know if that's going to be what happens on the 13th. There's been other speculation that it could be a takedown. There's been other speculation that it could be some kind of in Borderlands event that's not a takedown. I don't know. We don't know, but hopefully maybe some Wonderlands goodies.
What if it's just a combination of all those things? And what?
Oh my God,
boy.
that would be insane.
Brain just did a thing. What if it is some sort of in-game event that allows for the setup to Wonderlands?
Oh, that would
Like
be
it's
cool.
like it's a free DLC or like just an event or something, anything that allows there to be a tie-in with Wonderlands to kind of set everything up for what's coming next year.
That would be so cool. Oh my God.
Yes.
That would be
I
amazing.
haven't seen that. I know takedown's been suggested a lot. Maybe it's a takedown. Maybe it's like a fantastical takedown inside Krieg's mind or something like that. Because you could do anything in there, right?
Yeah, that would be so cool. Oh my God. I don't know. Whatever it is, it's going to be awesome. I'm absolutely certain. Like in the last, I want to say almost 3 years, probably 2.5 years, because, okay, so Borderlands launched on the 13th and 2 years ago, and the reveal event was May 1st, right? So, and a little bit before that was the announcement at PAX East. So like 2.5 years ago. So since 2.5 years ago, they've just been like giving out goodies and then saying that cool things are coming and then delivering on those cool things. So like Gearbox and 2K have not let us down yet. So I'm just like super, super excited for whatever it's going to be. I'm sure it'll be awesome.
It's a slow burn. That's really what it is, especially after the game got delayed. I definitely think they had, which is kind of a good thing when you think about it, because at least they have more time to really generate the hype, because this summer was so cramped. And then I think of, our partners at 2K. It's not just Borderlands that they have to worry about, although Borderlands is arguably probably the largest title that they work on. Everything, because of COVID, has been so compressed and pushed back along these lines, and now finally everybody's just kind of gotten in this rhythm and they're working on games and everything, and so they're finally able to get to that point where we can start really talking about building the hype and showcasing the gameplay and doing all these things, which, by the way, we didn't even talk about that. Literally, Matt Cox was retweeting and promoting the idea that what we're going to see next is actual gameplay footage. So like, that's kind of a big deal, because it's the one piece of the puzzle that we've been missing. We know that it's going to be releasing, I think March is when they were kind of hinting towards it these days. It was like Q1, Q2, somewhere in there of next year. And then on top of that, you have actual trailer to build hype. So the only thing left on Mitsu's E3 scale when you're judging a game's hype is gameplay. That's what we're waiting for.
Yeah. That's so crazy. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh my god, 15 minutes of gameplay would be amazing. Any amount of gameplay, anything at all related to Wonderlands would just make my heart and my eyeballs very happy.
I'd be so down for it too. I just it's been a long summer. And especially for Borderlands fans, it's been a summer where we've kind of been like, not necessarily spinning the wheels, but things have come to a bit of a slow grind right now because everybody's focused on the events or some personal goals that they're trying to achieve. There really hasn't been too much communication from Gearbox as to what the future of the game is. Happens, neither from 2K. It happens. It's just the way that these things go. And they've been really, really just building up next Monday as this big deal. So overall, I think we all are in agreement here that we're just excited for whatever it is. And hopefully you out there in TV land, you are too.
Yeah, even if it was only 2 minutes of gameplay, any amount of gameplay would be super cool. And Mystique just put in chat, and I think they did say this, gameplay reveal before summer's over, and summer's almost over. So hopefully, oh my god.
so yeah, that's actually a good point. I even have it in the show notes here. I was like, there's been a lot of buzz coming out lately about Wonderlands, from the official social media accounts, obviously Matt Cox as well. We were initially promised exactly what Mystique Siren said. We were promised more information by the end of summer. And while it certainly feels like summer has come to an end because Labor Day has happened and it is September, the best month of the year, by the technical definition, summer doesn't end until September 22nd. And as we all know, being technically correct is the best kind of correct.
Well, before that, we also get to have our collective birthday. Do you guys know that mine and Mitsu's birthday is the same day? Isn't that weird?
Who planned that? Nobody, actually. It's unbelievable.
Isn't that weird? It's so funny. Damit's birthday is Monday, so he literally got Borderlands 3 for his birthday, and now he's getting something else new, super cool. We don't know what. But yeah, our parents don't know each other. They were literally on different sides of the world. Mine were in Russia.
Yeah, quite literally. My mother was in Texas. Your parents were in Russia. There's absolutely no way. Or was there? There's the whole thing.
Who knows? And somehow we ended up on this show together, and it's great. So we're just excited for whatever Gearbox and 2K has in store for us.
Yes.
And yeah, Gearbox is expanding, by the way, which is super cool. We talked about this a little bit when Mystique was here last week. There is a new studio opening up. So now there will be studios in Frisco, Quebec, and Montreal, which is really, really cool. That embrace your money, more monies, more developers, more all the people that help developers and work with developers, because there's a lot of, I'm learning, there's a lot of tech roles.
Yes. I mean, if you ever went to an applications page for a developer company, just you run down this and it's things I've never even heard. I don't even know what their roles and responsibilities are.
Yeah.
And it just seems to me, because I don't speak tech jargon, I'm just like, doesn't this have overlap with this thing? And it's like, no, they are completely different, but they work in tandem. And it's like, that's a real job. Okay.
Is really cool, actually. And it's just exciting that they're taking on more people so that they can do more cool things. And if you are a developer or you are interested in the actual making of video games, you should go and check out Gearbox's website, because they have a bunch of positions listed that you could apply for. So maybe you'll be the next developer that we get to interview someday. That would be so cool. If somebody
Fingers
from
crossed.
Twitch,
I would love to talk to so much more of Gearbox.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yes.
Bud.
Oh boy. So let's see. What else do we have? Yes. Brief mention, of course, for Sea of Thieves right now, having that slight little crossover thing where they've got I think Claptrap is actually the masked mascot on the boat too, which I didn't notice until I looked at the pictures a little bit closer later. And then you've got vault symbols on the sides, vault symbols on the sails. So if you're a big Sea of Thieves fan and you're a big Borderlands fan, there's a nice little crossover event where you can obtain that. So when you're sailing the high seas, being a pirate and doing things that pirates do, you can also rep your Vault Hunter side when you decide to do that as well.
Yeah, so cool. Speaking of seas and thieves, my pirate adventure came to a close yesterday. I played a turtle named Pasha, who was very happy and also a death cleric and a sea pirate with some friends. in a really cool D&D adventure. And it just ended yesterday, and the Sea of Thieves thing totally made me think of it. But if you're curious to check it out, it's on Kobold Press's YouTube.
Yes.
And there may be, maybe, hopefully someday, another future adventure in some sand seas. We'll see eventually someday. But yeah,
Who knows?
I was very sad that it ended, but it was so cool to do.
You're just having like a grand old time. You know what it is? You're just absorbing all of these skills from all of these other D&Ds and D&D style games, tabletop RPGs, if you want to call them that, and just getting ready for bunkers and badasses.
Yes, exactly. I feel like that's exactly what was in my head. Like, bunkers and badasses is coming. I should just do more D&D so that I'm prepared. And I've had such a blast. And I'm so excited for when bunkers and badasses actually gets here. It's in progress. We've seen some things on Twitter and elsewhere that prove that it's in progress. So hopefully it'll be here soon and we can enjoy it. I'm so excited for that.
Yes. Indeed. I actually, it's funny. I get every now and again messages from this one fellow, and he asks me about what the current status is of bunkers and badasses. I want to say it's like every 2 to 3 months, like clockwork. And the answer I unfortunately have to give him every single time is, I know about as much as you do, dude. And the realistic answer is, for those of you who are wondering out there how bunkers and badasses is going right now, the most that we know, and this is all just like public stuff, is Christy Pitchford, who is Randy Pitchford's wife and also the owner of Nerdvana Games, which is it's a kind of a cafe that's actually located, I think, in not in Gearbox's office, but very close to Gearbox's office, where they have board games and tabletop stuff and all that kind of thing. And she's kind of branching out into also producing board games now as well, like actually making them, which is super cool. She is the one who's responsible for all this, and as a result, she's gotten an advanced copy from straight off the line. So they are in progress. They have been made. Some have been made. So the idea now is to produce enough of them, they'll ship them, and then they will be distributed. Whenever that happens, I do not know, but I do know that they exist in a physical form. They are real in this world and tangible, and we're going to get them when we get them, which hopefully is sooner rather than later. So.
Yeah. So excited. So besides that, Borderlands movie things. Okay, so there was some footage, we talked about this a little bit too, but there was some footage shown at CinemaCon a few weeks ago that showcased the characters in the movie. We haven't seen this, but the folks over at Geeky Tyrant claim that the cast is spot on and everyone looks like they came right out of the games themselves. General consensus seems to be that the casting, settings, costume design is on point, even going so far as to concede that Kevin Hart as Roland really does look like Roland, which I'm so happy to hear that. I knew that would be the case. I'm rooting for him so much because, I mean, I know he's already technically done, but I'm rooting for how he's presented. And I know, of course, Ariana did an amazing job as Tiny Tina. She actually, I don't know if you guys are paying attention to her Twitter, but she just started 9th grade. She's such a cool human, and I'm proud of her for everybody because she's very cool, and I'm excited to see her as Tiny Tina. You guys should make sure you're following her on Twitter because sometimes little tidbits about the movie pop off on that Twitter. Anyway, yeah.
Randy tweeted at her that apparently, he says she had the best 8th grade graduation of all time, and if I recall correctly, there were some pictures that were posted on the internet of that graduation. Apparently, they threw her a whole big party. Everybody went nuts. There were videos taken, pictures taken. It was a whole big deal right there on the set, which, I mean, if I was graduating 8th grade, when I graduated 8th grade an eternity ago, I would have loved to have it on a movie set for one of my favorite franchises. I don't know if it's her favorite franchise, but I'll say all things considered, she really does seem like she's invested in the lore of the series, the character that she's portraying, and that kind of circles back around to what the folks at Geeky Tyrant were saying, where the cast is spot on. They said Lilith looks like Lilith. They said Roland looks like Roland. They said it looks like it's ripped from the video game, and they got to see these costumes. They got to see these environments. It was very small amounts that they said they actually got to see. But these are completely independent film critics. This isn't somebody who was just sent there by Gearbox to then go out. It's not like It's not like somebody who has a vested interest in like lying to us and be like, just hyping it up for the sake of hyping it up. It's just these guys were just really excited for how this movie looked from the perspective of people who enjoy the series of games.
Yeah, they're just fans.
That's what we've been, fans. And that's what we've been crossing our fingers for this whole time, that they're going to do the game justice in the movie.
Yeah. I mean, you have to keep in mind that when mediums are different, it's really hard to have things feel the same. Like the difference between a basically animated character, right, in a video game that you control or even you see and you interact with in such a wide variety of ways when you're playing the game is going to be so different when you have like a film character that's a real human stylized to look like that video game character. They're wildly separate mediums. And the fact that they truly, it sounds like, teleported the characters right out of the game into the movie, I think is incredible. Like, it must take so much work to do that. I know it takes so much work to do that. And I'm just so excited to see the end result. I knew they would do a good job. It's very gratifying to hear someone who is a fan say that they think they did a really good job. It's really cool.
K6 is in chat in the Twitch chat right now asking, I would love to see a sizzle reel. Yeah, me too, bud. Which is apparently what they were shown.
Yeah,
they were actually shown like a small sizzle. I guess that's what they called it. They were like, yeah, it was a small sizzle reel. So it's like a whole thing. Yeah. I don't know. I'm hoping if there was a little bit, and I didn't know it was going to be there. If I had known that they were going to have that there, I would have went to CinemaCon. I'm a little sad that I wasn't made aware in advance that was going down, because I would have made every effort to be there to make sure I was there to see it, so I could bring back and report about it to all of you. Because I guess they're probably not allowed to talk about very specifics, because otherwise they would. But from a broad general thing, they were like, this looks like this, that looks like that, and that quite literally could have been all they were actually able to discuss.
It would be super cool if we could show you guys that reel. We'll ask. I mean, somebody somewhere has to have it. I don't know if we're allowed to even see it, much less show it to you guys. But we could ask. Who knows? That would be really cool, actually.
The worst, like my father said, the worst that they could say is no. Right?
Exactly.
So, but with so many like fingers in the pie and cooks in the kitchen when it comes to actually making this movie, you've got to jump through the hurdle of Gearbox. You've got to jump through the hurdle of Lionsgate. There's so many different production companies and elements, and everybody's got a vested interest in making sure that this movie is the absolute best movie that it possibly can be for us to then enjoy and spend millions of monies to prove that we should have a sequel to that movie, which hopefully there will be. But we're getting way far ahead of ourselves when we're talking about something like that. Let's get through the first one, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, but so cool.
Yes. Maurice's vending machine, switching gears back to the actual game itself, has moved once more. My usual source, Mental Mars, is not actually able to be here right now, because usually he's helping me on the back end with some production stuff, keeping me informed as to really cool things, article stuff that I might have overlooked. But he is busy. Wow, words. Busy at the bakery, alliteration. So he was not able to let me know, but our friends at whereismaurice.com have it already taken care of. Neon Arterial on Promethea is where you will find Maurice's vending machine this week. And for those of you who want to know, oh boy, woo! Tess, you want to know what they have in the vending machine?
Sure.
Oh boy, you ready? They have Sledge's shotgun. Yeah. They have the handsome jackhammer.
Ooh.
Yeah. And they have the King's Call.
Ooh. Okay. Very nice.
I want me a King's Call. I do. Well, because it's been so difficult. Like the drop rate was already very low for Kings and Queens Call.
Yeah,
and it was
true.
It's a pretty bloated table when you're doing Tyrene, and the Tyrene fight has forced invulnerability phases, so farming it, unless you basically one-shot it like Liz used to do. Friggin' Liz.
Liz is OP. She's very OP. But
Extremely.
yeah.
With her Torg shotgun build.
Yeah. Oh
For
my
bang
God.
stick, Jesus Christ.
But it is hard to get now, especially.
Yes.
So it's really nice that it's available at Maurice's vending machine. Another reason to spend a little iridium, but you could get more now, and there's discounts. So
Yeah. And it is very much worth it. The King's Call recently got buffed. I don't know if it's buffed to make it ultra viable, but it's always a super fun gun to use, and it does something that I always enjoy, which is rewarding a player for getting a critical hit. I love guns that reward you for doing the thing that the gun wants you to do. And any gun that does that, that's my favorite.
so nice.
It is. So that would be everything involving Maurice's vending machine.
Yeah.
And that is all of our ongoing news, isn't it?
Pretty much. Well, there's a little bit more news. We talked about it a little tiny bit last week. I don't know if there's a thing that I'm not sure I can tell you guys. So I'll tell you guys another time. But anyway, we're going to talk about NextMakers because 2K has launched a really, really cool program that they are calling NextMakers. And all of us on the team, the Borderlands team, are a part of it. And there are other teams and other franchises that 2K works with that are also a part of it. And it's a really, really incredible program. We've been kind of the beta testers. Bader. See,
you're doing it too. I get it.
Damn it. English, please.
Stupid
Brain,
language.
tongue, cooperate with me. Anyway, it's honestly, I said this last week and I can't say it enough. I feel like as a content creator, I've never been this supported, this valued, this challenged creatively and inspired creatively and just, sort of given the tools and the support that I didn't even know I needed to thrive. It's amazing, honestly. It's been amazing this whole time. Like, they've really, really been so good to us. And I'm so happy to see them being able to onboard more creators, both into the Borderlands community, but also onto the other franchises like WWE and the NBA and creators and all of the different Midnight Suns, all of that. Of course, play Wonderlands. So excited. All of the amazing franchises that 2K works on and 2K works on with Gearbox, and all of the other companies that they work on are going to sort of benefit from this really cool pool of creators that they are working so hard to boost up and lift up and help to not only grow and improve as content creators, but to succeed and to, take care of ourselves, which we all really are not great at. I started streaming 7 years ago, and back then it was truly the wild, wild west. I feel like I'm dating myself, and I'm one of those parents that's like, I used to ski to school in the hail and storms and stuff. This is what my parents told me. But I mean, honestly, it was crazy back then. It's still crazy now. It's just crazy in different ways. Being a content creator, I feel like it's very much a growing industry, and to thrive in it, to grow with the industry and to be successful, you absolutely need support from your peers, from the companies that we work with, and you need to take care of yourself so that you can continue to work at your, best sort of ability, and continue to grow. And they've absolutely facilitated that this whole time that we've been working on Borderlands and Bordercast and all this stuff. And it's really, really cool to see them expand this program to include more creators and to give these opportunities and to give this support to more people and to see them grow and thrive. It's really, really amazing. So I feel very lucky to be a part of it. I'm really glad to have met people like Mitsu, who's I've learned so much from, and all of the other creators on the team, of course, K6 and Jolts, and all of our teammates, damn it, who's hanging out in chat, and all of the new creators. Like, we all learn from each other. One of the things that sort of happened, I've noticed in the 7 years that I've been a streamer, is there's always been some kind of group communication system, TeamSpeak, Discord, whatever, Skype once upon a time.
Oh God.
Yeah, a long time
We're
ago.
dating ourselves now.
Yeah, where like we would share information and be there to help each other, but it's so different having a place to share information and help each other, but also have that be supported by a brand, you know, a publisher of video games that we can work with on different titles that can give us so much more support and direction and you know, sort of just tools to be creative and do cool things. And it's just, yeah, I feel very lucky, and I'm really, really like proud to be a part of this program. I'm honored that I'm a part of it, and everybody that's part of it is amazing, you know. So welcome to those of you guys that are newly in it, and we hope to see more of you.
Which we should probably state at this point. Well, how are we? I guess it's not, well, nobody said I couldn't. Mystique, Siren, and Quagron. Surprise! Nobody said I couldn't say anything.
That's what I wasn't sure about.
Whatever. Correct. That's what this show is supposed to be for anyway. That's what we're supposed to be here to do. And I didn't know this until like this morning. And if I had known sooner, I would have had both of them on the show, because there's supposed to be a tradition that whenever we bring somebody new on the show, and this is Epic NNG too, who's actually, I believe, just joined. So there's supposed to be a tradition of bringing people who are joining onto the program. So I'm a little like sad that we didn't get to upkeep that.
Well, we just have to have them on sometime in the near future.
Maybe we'll talk about next week. After all, next week's show is going to be gigantic with all the stuff that they're promising coming down the pipeline. Just saying. Let's back up a little bit, because everything that you just said is a wonderful way to kind of preface what NextMakers is. But it's very high level, and I feel like there's going to be a ton of people with a ton of questions trying to understand what exactly NextMakers is and what NextMakers can do for you and what you can do for NextMakers. I sound like JFK. So let's really talk about it. First things first, the most important question that everybody's going to have is, what the hell is NextMakers? NextMakers is I'll put it this way. Out there in the world for a long time now, there have been programs from various companies that they like to call ambassador programs. Nintendo has one, Ubisoft has one, all of these different companies have them, and they've all had varying degrees of success. EA has their, I believe their Game Changers is theirs. But one of the things that I've noticed from feedback from a lot of these different things, a lot of these different companies, is when they bring content creators on board, oftentimes they're offered like one or two different things, maybe a little exclusive information. They get a nice thing in the mail every now and again. Bing, bang, boom. All right, congratulations. Thank you for your business. See you later. There really isn't a lot of meat or substance to these ambassador programs, especially after a game is launched. Because after a game is launched, you've only got a marketing budget. We're going to break down the fourth wall and explain the business a little bit here for maybe about another 6 months, right? And so after that, opportunities start drying up a little bit. Information becomes very sparse, and creators, I don't want to use the term valued, but their contributions are kind of like lessened in favor of moving into more traditional areas. Or if the game unfortunately doesn't do very well, this kind of falls apart altogether. And oftentimes it doesn't feel like or seem like a lot of the feedback that content creators and their communities, a very important point we'll talk about in a little bit, are being heard, listened to, and then implemented on. That is different when it comes to NextMakers. And I will use a very easy example. The prototype for NextMakers, and this is kind of how NextMakers came about, was the Borderlands team, of which Tess and I have been on right since the beginning. And they were kind enough to elevate us to be co-captains of this team. And what the team originally was about was providing an exclusive level of access, being able to talk to the developers and the publishers directly, being able to give meaningful feedback that we believe in, and not just us, but stuff that our communities have all given to us that we then provide to them. So when I talk about this, and we've talked about this a lot, Tessa said it, I've said it, we say it a lot. When we say that your feedback is listened to and valued, we mean it. Because especially those of you who've been following Borderlands 3 since its inception, the game has changed in so many meaningful ways that all of you out there have been asking for. Iridium, literally we talked about at the top of the show, having value beyond very simple things and actually utilizing it instead of just for the Iridium Fabricator was a big deal. And that got implemented. So that was the prototype. The prototype was that. It was affiliate opportunities. What Tess and I do here we get to be here every single week and do this show. And 2K and Gearbox have been so kind in making sure that we're taken care of and that we are able to focus on doing this and the opportunities that we want to hopefully do down the line, because there's more than just Borderlands 3 in this world, especially when it comes to Borderlands these days. They have just been absolutely wonderful to work with on this project, and they've given us a lot of leeway. And that's kind of what NextMakers is about. It's just about encouraging that inner spark of content creation and nurturing it to help it grow, instead of just saying, okay, this is what you can do for us, this is what we can do for you, here's some gifts, here's some money, go away.
Yeah,
It's so much more involved.
That. I mean, on a personal note, like, I never expected to do Bordercast. I had no idea that they were even thinking about this. I mean, I don't think anybody had any idea that they were thinking about this, but I had no idea that they were thinking of me for this. And it's been such a cool, like, it's been such an incredible, you know, sort of, I don't know what the right word is. It's been a creative endeavor that I didn't expect to have, but am so grateful. It's been a creative challenge that has made me grow and learn new things and improve so much as a like video editor and computer problem solver and you know, writer and producer and all these things. And it's just like, I've learned so much doing this show from Mitsu and from like the 2K guys that we work with and the Gearbox. Us being able to interview the developers has been incredible. Like, we've been able to be the direct link between you guys and the devs, and learning a little bit of that side of things and learning more of how to like bring that information to you guys in a way that makes sense. It's just been amazing, and it. To have that opportunity and to have that growth, that ability for growth is incredible. And so not only is the relationship between the NextMakers, the people that run it, and the content creators that are a part of it, a venue for opportunities, but like, we're just so supported. They have a whole, you know, section of people just trying to help us with like tech or self-care or whatever we might need. And they just want us to like thrive, and they're there. It's not just like a one-time interaction, like activation kind of thing where we're one and done, you know, like Mitsu said. It's an ongoing relationship. It's an ongoing good relationship, which is an incredible thing, and honestly pretty unheard of in this industry. I feel like, you know, other companies are trying to do things that are maybe kind of similar, but to have like more kind of longer term relationships. But this is the first program I've ever seen in the 7.5 years that I've been streaming that even, you know, comes close to what they've done. Like, it's amazing. So definitely, if you want to apply, you should.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit about how to do that a little bit later on. So stay tuned if you're interested, and we will continue to kind of like inform you as to why you should be. That being said, who is currently in the program? Well, I mean, Tess is. I am. Everybody that's on the Borderlands content creation team has been moved over to NextMakers. So basically everybody that you know, Killer Six, Jolts Dude, one of my best buds, King Gathalion, Professor Broman, everybody who was a part of the team from its inception has been moved over. The team still exists, but now it's part of a larger program known as NextMakers. So a lot of people that you like out there in the industry, if you don't even like us, and for some reason you're watching, I don't know why, but you are, people that you might enjoy and are surprised to find out on the team, very well might be. The program itself began in earnest about, probably what, 3-4 weeks ago when applications went live. But it's been something that has honestly felt like it's been in the works probably for 5 or 6 years. And the Borderlands content creation team, the stream team originally, as it was known, was the alpha test, if you will, to the beta test that was this past year, to then where we're at now at NextMakers. Because a lot of the framework for everything that we've done has kind of set up for the big payoff that is this program. And man, I wish I was wearing my jacket right now. Not because it's cold, but because it's a really nice jacket. We'll talk about that another time. So one of the most important questions that I've gotten recently is why should you join NextMakers? Let's say you are an aspiring content creator out there right now, and you're listening to us talk, and you are intrigued and would like to know more. but you still don't know what exactly NextMakers can do for you besides what Tess and I have already told you about. NextMakers is a place where you as a content creator can have that level of access that we've been talking about, but you will have opportunities for affiliate sponsorships for your games, the games that you love. For every game under that 2K banner. Borderlands, of course, but there's tons of other ones out there that you might be interested in, or suddenly you might get an interest sparked in. Maybe you didn't realize how much you enjoyed a certain game, and then you sat down and played it because you've been messing around in the NextMakers Discord, and somebody was like, hey, play this game with me. And then all of a sudden you found another one. And you've also made a friend in the process, somebody you never thought you could connect with. This is a place where people who are the biggest of the big content creators, the smallest of the small content creators, can all come together as equals and talk and laugh and like make jokes and ask questions and learn from each other and be a part of that creative process together. And some people will make it and take it and it'll be their own. And some people, you know, will be a little bit more reserved and not participate nearly directly as much. It is what you put into this, I'm learning, is what you get out of it. So it's one of those programs where if you want to be involved, the opportunities are there for you to take if you want them. So I suggest very highly, whatever your size as a content creator, from the biggest of the big to the smallest of the small, just apply. Just apply. Because I imagine, and I don't have figures with me, but knowing this industry, I would venture a guess that from release, there were thousands of applicants of all sizes to the program when it went live. And you out there listening right now, what's to stop you from doing it other than the fear that you might be rejected? And even if you are, on a personal level, you know, I've had people come to me in DMs and say, well, am I too small? Is this really the right fit for me? I don't understand what this program is, which is part of the reason that we're talking about it right now, because the answer is you won't know until you apply. And even, and I do want to highlight this too, because this is something I had to tell some of them. Even if you were, let's say you were rejected, right? That's not the end of the road. That's not to say that you could always reapply in 6 months' time, in a year's time. And that's not to say that your content is bad necessarily either. It just might not be at this time the right fit for NextMakers. But the idea is you'll get that meaningful feedback, and maybe you can make adjustments to what you're doing to be more appealing to the program as a whole, and then you can come back on. So don't try. Just try. Because you never know. I had no business being on the Borderlands team. None.
Yes, you did.
By straight numbers and metrics, no, I didn't. Not at all. I was inarguably the single smallest content creator on the Borderlands team by a large margin.
So when I started streaming 7.5 years ago, I'm sorry, I'm about to age Mitsu, but I watched Mitsu. And like I watched him and Broman and T-Rex, I think, and Goth, of course.
I miss T.
But especially Broman, you and Goth were the people that I watched play Borderlands when I first started streaming. Like you were one of the guys that I watched. So
I'm gonna turn red, by the way. See, I already am. Look.
Like one of the original Borderlands creators and one of the most knowledgeable people, and the heart and the love for the franchise. Like that's I think a huge part of the reason that we ended up doing this, right?
Yeah.
For both, because also me, I'm not like enormous right now in any way, shape, or form either. And so it's just, you know, it's not about the numbers. Like that's one of the things that's really, really amazing with NextMakers and with 2K and Gearbox is they care. You know, I don't think it's about the numbers. I think it's about the quality of your content and the depth of your passion and the sort of maturity and how you carry yourself, you know, whether or not you are a positive member of your community, whether or not you are like respectful and you know, fair, and whether or not you just love what you're doing and have that energy and have that like presence, right? So things like that, quality definitely over quantity, is I think a much more important metric to them. At least that's been my experience. And, I think Mitsu's as well. And so I think, that's the thing you need to work on. Like, one of the biggest sort of downfalls of creators, myself included, over the years of streaming, is focusing on the numbers, because like there's nothing you can do about the numbers. Really, it's actually completely outside of your control. You can't do anything about literally like the pixels of red that are in your view count. Like there's nothing you can do about it. It's just, there are things about like positioning yourself and blah blah blah, but what really matters is your content and the energy that you put out and the positivity, or like you don't have to be like all positive all the time or anything. It's just the personality that you put out, okay, and the sort of maturity level of how you conduct yourself with your community and other communities on the internet, not even just Twitch, right? And the other cool thing about NextMakers, totally unrelated to what I'm talking about right now, but they are going to be including not just streamers, but like artists and cosplayers and musicians and things like that, people that work with content creators on some of the content. So it's not just streamers, and that's amazing. So it's just about the quality of your content, whatever that content may be. And that matters most. So work on that. Like if you are a new creator, if you're a growing creator, if you love some of the franchises that 2K works on, just keep trying to improve. And definitely, like Mitsu said, just apply it. Like one of the most intelligent things I've ever read on the internet, and I read this recently, was don't say no to yourself. Like, let other people say no to you. If they say no to you, use that to drive yourself to improve, but don't say no to yourself. Don't like stop yourself from doing things and trying things and being brave. Like yeah, you might fail, but you'll learn something if you fail. You'll still get something out of it even if you fail, right? You'll learn and you'll grow and you'll hopefully figure out what you did wrong and then not make the same mistakes again, that kind of thing. But maybe you'll not fail. What happens if you succeed? Like imagine it, and keep that in your mind.
So yes, I agree quite a bit. It's a learning process. All of this is a learning process, and we just kind of make it up as we go. And that's kind of how it was when I started this. I was just flying by the seat of my pants. They said, "Oh, we're gonna send you at LA." Cool. All right, I guess I'm going to LA now. Whoops. And then they're like, "Hey, we're gonna have you do an E3 show with Tess," and I was like, "Oh, I guess we're doing an E3 show now." Whoops. And like it just cascaded from there. And every single time they had this new idea, this new challenge, this new opportunity, I was all for it. And that's what NextMakers is trying to be for all of these things, Borderlands included. And that's why it's so exciting, because it means now that we're going to have an opportunity to work with so many new and interesting people that we just didn't have that opportunity previously to be able to do and work with. And that's really what gets me hyped for the release finally of this program. And as we talked about before, some of the benefits of joining NextMakers over other similar programs are that level of access, the prestige that comes along with it. There's a really sweet jacket. I don't know if more people are going to get it, but I hope that they get jackets in the future because jackets are nice. The just ability for you to be able to go out there and engage and provide meaningful feedback to developers and publishers, and for them to act on that is just something that doesn't really happen. I see people talk about things that they wish were happening in The Sims all the time, for example. And these are people that are in like EA Game Changers, and it's like, okay, is EA going to do something about that? Is not Maxis going to do something about that anymore? And then I think of everything that we've done with NextMakers, and it's just been so exciting because when we get to sit down and do interviews that you guys have seen, and ask questions and try and get meaningful feedback out of them, and some of those questions are hard questions. We don't try to smooth things over. Some of these things we've asked are real, and they give real feedback, and they're like, wow, that's something, we haven't considered, or, oh, we've heard that. That's something that we're definitely looking into. But now we have an answer, and now we know. We can tell everybody. They get it to tell everybody. and that's the difference. That is the difference. And the other thing that it can provide is stability, because with affiliate opportunities, that means that you would be being paid. We were paid originally way back then to do sponsored streams for Borderlands 2 and 3 when it was on the ramp up to and the release. And I can say this because it was hashtag sponsored ads, right? Yeah. So you know that they were sponsored streams. Not that we wouldn't have streamed them anyway, but we were sponsored to do them too. And we got to do them right here on the official Borderlands channel, which was cool.
That's the amazing part, though. Like having a guaranteed income of any kind on Twitch is unheard of still, I think, yeah. Like having something, having whatever, it doesn't even matter what the amount is, but having any amount that you know for sure you're going to make is incredible. It's so stress relieving and it makes your content better because you're not worried about numbers again. You can just focus on actually making your content really good, which is part of that support that they provide. And it's really amazing to have that.
So they say money can't buy happiness. But if there's one thing I've learned recently from listening to Brian Alvarez, another podcaster who does other things involving wrestling, it can't buy happiness, but it can buy security and stability. And those things can lead to happiness. So having that security and that stability in order for you to continue your content creation journey into a career from it being a hobby that you're really passionate about, just like how I started, and I imagine, Tess, that's how you started too, to be able to start and then have that playing games that you love, it's like a no-brainer, dude. Like how much more do I need to tell you that you should apply if you're listening right now if you haven't already? How many more ways can we say it? I'm not even sure anymore. So that being said, I would say that it's time to talk about how to actually do it. And to apply to be a NextMaker, you would go to nextmakers.2k.com/connect/start. So nextmakers.2k.com/connect/start. There is an information, frequently asked questions that kind of covers some of the things on the website as well that we have been talking about here. Some of it was derived for the things we've been talking about, but a lot of what we've been talking about are actual experiences with the program, because a fact can only tell you so much, but take it from two people who are living like evidence of the success of this program, that we're not like BSing you. Like this is real, and this is something that you can partake in today, right now.
Yeah,
and you should.
I just put the links in the Twitch chat. I will put them into the podcast description section for those of you guys listening. 1000% recommend checking out the website, getting more information. So there's a link to sign up, and also just a link with some info and FAQ, so you can get your questions answered. You can also always, come at us in my stream, on Mitsu's Twitter, on my Twitter, our Instagrams, whatever. Definitely reach out if you have questions, and we will at the very least point you in the right direction, if not answer them. So, yeah.
Yes. Who is the program looking for? This goes back to a lot of the DMs that I received after the program was launched. They're looking for anybody who is passionate about 2K games. So that includes, of course, Borderlands, like we've talked about. So if you're passionate about Borderlands, that's a huge start for you right there. They're looking for people who are professional, somebody who can give constructive feedback without just getting angry about something and just being like, everybody sucks, they suck, this is why they suck. Being constructive with your feedback means saying, hey, this is not working out the way that this probably is intended to right now. Here are some ideas, and this is the important part. Here are some ideas on how we can make it better. That's the difference. The difference with constructive feedback is being able to look at a situation and giving meaningful feedback that people can take in. This can apply to any part of your life. It's called professionalism, people. And say, we can do better, and here's how. And also saying that you're doing a good job now, because they kind of are. I mean, working under COVID, that's wild. So yeah. So that's who they're looking for. And if you think you're professional, if you're consistent with your content, if you are very passionate about video games and 2K specific games in general, that's who you're looking for. That's who they're looking for, I should say. And real quick, we talked about this too. If you don't get accepted, it's not the end of the world. It's just another step on your content creation journey. And it's prestigious and it's a big deal, but don't look so hard into it that it needs to become the entire focus of everything that you do. Just like anything else in life. If you get rejected, make some adjustments, keep working on that journey and try again. I think a lot of what is it? Hell's Kitchen and MasterChef and stuff like that. There are some amazing chefs out there who are on these shows and they get kicked off the show. But it's not because they're bad chefs or something like that. It's just that some people are just better. But you know what Gordon says when those really talented, passionate chefs are off the show? He tells them every time, keep traveling that journey. Keep working towards those goals. Don't give up on it. This is just one step in a long journey. So keep at it and you will make it happen. Maybe not in a way you even expected, but you got to keep doing it. Because if you give up, then that's it. It's over. Don't give up because you can do it. My dumbass did.
Same, seriously. Just keep improving and working on your actual content. Don't focus on numbers, don't focus on stats, just focus on making your content the best that it can possibly be. And that doesn't also necessarily mean having the best technology to like run stuff. I mean, technology is amazing. Don't get me wrong, most of the time when it cooperates. But you know, just do your best in terms of your energy and like have fun things to talk about. Like if you find yourself having dead air, kind of, this is a thing that Mitsu and I talk about a lot. You know, like maybe write yourself some little like funny jokes or some little prompts of things to talk about, just so that you don't like necessarily have to come up with it right away. If you don't have people in chat talking to respond to, or just pretend there are people in chat. Always be talking. That's another big thing. It's like, try to just always be engaging with whoever is watching and listening, and always pretend that there is a developer or some industry person, a social media manager, or you know, a marketing person, somebody in your chat. Just pretend that that's the case, because you never know, they could be. There are lots and lots of people that hang out in chats and never talk. I am guilty of this, but also
Yes.
just a lot of people that actually make important decisions about stuff like this that are watching. And there's two reasons I say this. One is that it will make you conduct yourself in a way that I do, Rigma. It will make you conduct yourself in a slightly more professional way, which is good. But also it'll make you more relaxed. Like thinking that a person like that might be watching, you'll get used to that, so that when people like that, you know for sure, are watching, you won't be as nervous. Now, I won't lie, I still get nervous every single Bordercast, a little bit, but the more I do it, the more I get used to it. When a dev shows up in chat, my heart goes a little bit faster, I won't lie, but it's much better than the first time a dev showed up in my chat when I was like, oh my God, you know what I mean? So just get yourself used to that, because that's the nature of our industry, right? That'll happen and it'll be a normal thing. And so you won't be scared of it. So it'll just be a good thing.
Yeah. And those are tips that you can take with wherever you go in the streamer space. Like but that's it. That right there. Everything Tess just did, that's NextMakers. That's NextMakers, because you can sit there and you can talk for hours with people who have done this for years and years and years, and you're still getting your feet wet. You're still trying to figure out your place in this giant content creation world, this giant industry that's just exploding everywhere. And sometimes you're just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Help. And like, you can talk to somebody like Tess who can give you meaningful feedback. Like that just happened at the tip of, you could literally just be in the Discord and just do it.
Yeah,
you just do it.
You can always reach out to people and ask for help too. That's the beauty of NextMakers. It really is a community of people. And like, I know I keep saying I've been doing this for 7.5 years. That does not make me an expert. I am far from an expert. I know what I happen to know. Some of what I know is probably wrong, for sure. And I definitely run into all kinds of silly issues and problems with technology and other things. And I know I can reach out to other people for help. Which is amazing. And I am super happy to have people reach out to me for help, whether it be with tech or anything else. regarding streaming or anything like that. And it's really nice to have that back and forth. And yeah.
Yeah. So to wrap it all up, if you think you want to be a part of this program, nextmakers.2k.com. Go there, poke around, sign up, apply. Because I promise you it's worth it. Because it very well might change your life. It certainly did for me.
Me too. Very, very much so.
I think we're up against the hard wall. Tess, you want to start taking us home?
Sure. You guys, thank you so much for joining us. If you're enjoying the show as much as we love doing it, please make sure to subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button. Get notifications set up on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn, YouTube Music, and Stitcher. Join us live on Twitch every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the official Borderlands channel, our home. Twitch.tv/Borderlands. We're also on the YouTube and Facebook and Steam, which is so cool. And thank you. And D Rigma, who is one of the really, really, really awesome developers at Gearbox, just said, also, all of us making the games enjoy watching people, no matter how big or small you are. These developers are like the nicest humans in the world. They really, really are. I remember when I was streaming the 4th DLC with like Maya, who's my favorite character, and just all of these things. And I was like just in tears, so much of it, because it was so emotional and so good. And there were so many devs that stopped by and like just enjoyed the experience with me. And it was so cool to see them. And I mean, I know as an artist or a creator or in any medium, on any platform, it doesn't matter what you make, whether you make, a beautiful piece of art, or you stream a video game, or you build a video game with your code or your art or what have you. When somebody is using something you worked on, something you created and you made, and they're enjoying it, that is the greatest feeling in the world. It's amazing. So, developers, they love hanging out and seeing what you guys, do with their content. They love seeing you play their games and enjoy their games. So don't be scared to do that.
Yeah. I wanted to give one more shout out real quick to Jesselyn Cupcake, who I thought I recognized when she was in here earlier. And lately, especially on the official Borderlands Twitter account, and I believe Randy as well, there has been a lot of promotion of her cosplays, and they are insane. If you haven't had a chance to check them out, she's absolutely incredible and super talented, and hopefully maybe we can have her on the show at some point too. It's been a while since we've done a cosplay show. I think since the days of having Lucky Bones and Grim Bones.
Yeah, it would be
who I miss very sorely too.
Oh man, I hope they're doing well. That would be amazing to do. That would be incredible.
So please make sure to check out all of her stuff as well. That was super cool to see her. Yes, I did recognize. I knew it was something, and then I clicked on your thing and I saw you. I was like, okay, all right, good. I got it. We're good. Tess, I don't have it in the notes anymore, and I don't know why I don't, but I gotta say it anyway because it's the right thing to do. Where can they find you?
Tessichka, just Tessa, CHKA on Twitch, right here on the Borderlands channel, and then Tess Games on Twitter and Instagram. And Mitsu, what about you?
Twitter.com/MITSUSHOW, Mitsu Show, as I was once known a very long time ago because I couldn't get Mitsu on Twitch, which is where I'm known as twitch.tv/Mitsu. But I haven't streamed in a little while. We're working on that. Hopefully it'll happen again in the near future, as I do actually miss streaming quite a bit. But life is life, and so it goes. But for all of the updates and all of my musings on both this and, of course, wrestling as well, twitter.com/MITSU Mitsu SHOW show. That's it. That's all I got. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. Tess and I appreciate it. I can't wait for next week. Tess, you can't wait for next week either?
So excited. Oh my God.
It's wild. I hope anyway. I've just got a good, I don't know. I've got a good feeling and I don't know why. So fourth wall real quick. Usually we get advanced information of certain things. Sometimes we have no idea what's coming next week. None. Zero. That's no BS. So when it happens, whatever it is, we're going to be right there losing our minds with you as well. So we'll see what next week looks like together. I can't wait. Guys, Enough of the mushy stuff. On behalf of Tess, myself, and the entire content creation team, and everybody at NextMakers. Hey, I got a new one in there. Thank you so much for joining us as you do every single week. Now go forth and make some mayhem.